So in nature, when we make measurements of quantities, we encounter two different types of quantities that are called scalars and vectors. A scalar is a quantity that has a magnitude, it has associated units, it does not have a direction. A vector is a quantity with a magnitude and a direction and units. So let me give you some examples of these two different types of quantities, and you can probably recognize many that you've seen before. So a scalar is something like a mass. If I ask you what the mass of a suitcase is, you might say it's 10 kilograms. You don't need to say it's 10 kilograms up or 10 kilograms east. On the other hand, a vector quantity could be something like velocity, where I ask, you're driving from Woodland Hills to Encino on the 101, I ask you your velocity and you say it's 65 miles per hour east. So you have a magnitude, 65, you have a direction, east, and you have units, miles per hour. So other examples of these in nature are temperature for scalars. We measure temperature in degrees Celsius or degrees Fahrenheit or Kelvin. You don't need a direction for temperature. It doesn't point in any particular direction. Volume. And speed is another one. So you might notice that I've talked about speed and velocity. In everyday language, those mean the same thing, but in physics they're different because speed is just 65 miles per hour. Velocity is 65 miles per hour east. Speed doesn't contain a direction, velocity does. So other types of vectors could be displacement. That's the distance and direction you've traveled. Acceleration. Force. Electric field. Magnetic field. There's many, many more. Momentum, angular momentum. When we write these things down, for scalars, you just have your symbol. For vectors, you write a little arrow on top. When you read textbooks or documents online, sometimes people will put arrows on top. Sometimes they'll write vectors in bold, and sometimes they'll be both bold and with arrows. So just expect to see several different types of notation for vectors. In a few weeks, we'll learn how to do some math with vectors. Because just like with regular numbers, you can add and subtract and multiply them. But it turns out that the rules of arithmetic are significantly more complicated when you do vector math. But we'll learn how to do that soon.